Okay, let's just jump right into it. I don't need no introduction. We're going to talk about why Black Panther 2 Wakanda sucks, in my opinion. This is my opinion. You can agree or disagree, but this is just my opinion. All right, the problem with this film, let's just jump right into it. This is not a good story for a sequel, especially coming off from that first film. This is not a good sequel. This is the type of story that would make a good fourth film if the character T'Challa had a 3-movie story arc. Like if they decided to kill him off in the third movie, this Wakanda Forever would be good for a 4th movie. Why? Because it's a reboot of Wakanda. It's a reboot. This Wakanda Forever is a reboot of Wakanda. Why? Because the Queen is dead. T'Challa's dead. He has a son. So this is just not a good sequel coming off from that first film. That first film dealt with a lot of it dealt with T'Challa being the king. It also dealt with him killing with one of his family members at the end, and discovering how shady his dad was. I wish we would have got more than that in this film, or at least for 2 films, because it's just like they just cut that off. I mean, T'Challa is dead in this movie. Like, he's dead, and I have a problem with that. I think they should have recast and continued the story. I tried to give Ryan Coogler the benefit of the doubt. You see my past videos. I said I'm gonna go in it with an open mind, but if he had time to write this 3-hour bullshit, they had time to recast. I don't give a damn if it was in the pandemic. If he had time to write this new story, they had time to recast. They just didn't want to do it. That's what it comes down to. What else I didn't like? There was some scenes in this film that were just too dark. Like, I don't know if it was the contrast of my movie theater or somebody forgot to brighten up the frame rate or what, but I'm talking about the scene when Namor appears. I thought that scene was really good, but you couldn't see anything. I was like squinching my eyes. I don't know if any of you guys experienced that, but I do know a lot of people complained about that, especially on John Campion's show. The contrast of the scene itself was just dark. Like, you had to like kind of squint your eyes to see what's going on. You really couldn't see Namor. All you see is like a shadow of him, but you couldn't really see what was going on. Like, the scene was just dark. I'm talking about the scene was dark because it was at night, but the overall contrast in the theater was dark. So, but that is one of my favorite scenes, but I just thought it was just too dark. I couldn't see it. Let's go back to T'Challa. T'Challa should have been recast. I mean, we've been following him in Civil War all the way up to Endgame, all the way up to Wakanda Forever. They should have continued the story. I think that was a big disservice to the fans. Ryan Coogler gets an L for that. Get an L for that. They literally killed the character off, and I didn't like that. And I know a lot of you didn't like that. I wanted more of T'Challa, and the movie just felt empty. It's shot decent, but it felt empty without the character T'Challa. They should have just got another actor or delayed the movie until they find the perfect person to gel with, but just missed opportunity. Let's talk about Riri Williams. Now, I thought she was pretty cool, but my nitpick is her acting was really weak. It wasn't believable, and her image wasn't believable. Like, they made her look like a stud from the hood. This didn't look like a girl who could build a vibranium machine. Like, they made her look like a stud. She looked like a little version of Queen Latifah's character in Set It Off. That looked like that could be her. So they made her look like a stud and all masculine. She looked like a little boy. you know. But she mostly reminded me of Queen Latifah's character and Set It Off, just a meanier, smaller version and an annoying version of her. But I thought her acting was weak. I thought it was weak. I didn't buy her acting. Like I said, I don't know the Ironheart story like that, but I didn't like that scene where they copied off Iron Man. They copied the scene off Iron Man when he's going up in the air and he's losing oxygen and stuff like that. That was completely off Iron Man, you know. Now, I don't mind directors copying stuff as long as you make it your own, but this was just a copy of it, which I didn't like. I didn't like it at all. I was just laughing at it. I thought it was goofy. I thought her suit at the end looked goofy. I preferred her prototype suit. I think I would have set well with that, you know, versus that end result we got at the end. It looks like a ladybug or some shit, you know. I just didn't like that. I didn't like that. Well, I thought she was cool though, you know. I just thought her acting was weak, and she didn't look like a scientist though. That's what I'm saying. She looked like a stud from the hood. Now, if they would have had her with glasses or made her look more dorky like or nerdy like, yeah, maybe I would have bought it. But like I said, I don't know the character of Riri Williams, but they made her look like a stud from the hood. They made her look like Queen Latifah's character and Set It Off. So I didn't like that. I thought Okoye was cool. I thought she did a good job, you know. I just didn't like she got fired, you know what I'm saying? But I thought she did real good acting there. Okay, Okoye was cool. You know, all her scenes was badass. I didn't really have no problems with her. And Baku, I mean, they sidelined him. There wasn't just enough of him. You know, they made him out to be a joke. You know, he was more masculine in those other movies. But they made him look like a joke, like a total goofball, you know, so I wasn't buying that. Angela Bassett, you know, that was my favorite part of this movie. You know, seeing her, I mean, she's still fine as hell. You know, like I said, I would hit that still, you know, but I just didn't like, of course I didn't like her death because, you know, that's what pretty much drew me into this movie is Angela Bassett, boy, you know, especially when she played Tina Turner, boy. Oof, damn. She still got it. Like I said, if she looking for a young dude, hey, Angela, you can call me. But one thing I did not like what they did with her, they just had her roaming around by herself. Like she didn't have no guards with her at all. She was just roaming around Wakanda by herself. You know, I thought that made her look very vulnerable because if Namor wanted to kill her, he had plenty of chances just to kill her. You know, because she didn't have any guards by herself. And even when they met up, when they was by the beach or whatever in the daytime, like he could have just killed her. Like she was by herself. Was none of her guards with her. And even when when Namor was attacking Wakanda, she was just in the building by herself with Riri, someone she barely even knew. You know, she was just in there. I know she was like controlling the ships and shit, but she was just in there by herself. She wasn't guarded. And this is a battle going on right in front of her. You know, and the queen, you would think they would want to get her out of there, but she was in the building pretty much by herself. You know, I just thought it was weak because I'm looking like, wow, she just by herself. You know, there's no one like guarding her. Like in a real life scenario, the guards would have been there. You know, they wouldn't let the queen be. They would have got the queen out of there. But like I said, they just had her by herself, just roaming around Wakanda with no guards. You know, I mean, I know she fired Okoye, but she still had other guards. So I didn't like that. And I peep little stuff like that. You know, and that's what really be ticking me off about these movies. You know, but it's Marvel. But you know, Ryan Coogler, I had high expectations for this, especially coming off that first one. You know, and he disappointed me, man. He disappointed me. Let's talk about Namor. I thought, like I said, I don't really know the comics like that, you know, but I thought he was cool in some things, but he just got annoying. It's like sometimes he was like whining because, you know, he got that raspy kind of voice. It sounded like he was whining. And I thought his motivations was really weak, because once I found out they had vibranium, I'm like, well, what's the motivations gonna be? And I guess he wanted Wakanda to help him kill Riri. I was like, man, you could have did that shit by yourself. Like, I just thought his motivation was weak. What I did like that underwater scene. I ain't gonna lie, I was with my girl or whatever, and we was in the theater with the underwater and the music. I was all in. Like, I was like, wow, but I did like the underwater scene when he showed where his people was, and the music brought that scene out. So that's one of my favorite scenes. I did like that. However, I did get weird vibes that him and Shuri was like kind of like falling in love a little bit. It seemed like they was trying to go there and then they pulled back. I don't know if any of you guys noticed that, but that was one of my favorite scenes. But I did like that scene. I thought that was cool. I liked it like it was majestic, if that's the word to describe it. But another problem with Namor is, they kind of emasculated him a little bit. I wasn't digging like the big ass earrings. It looked kind of girly and shit. I guess that's supposed to be vibranium or what, but he looked girly with those earrings and shit. Kind of like feminized a little bit. So that's just one of my nitpicks. But I just thought his motivations was weak. I just thought it was weak, and I just wasn't feeling them because in some scenes he sound like he was whining. It just got annoying, but and then at the end, like when he said he needs water, I mean, they throw that stuff in your face like, I need water. And John Campia had brought it up, like he could have just flew around and jumped in the water like before that, because they was on the beach. So, I mean, it's a nitpick review, but I thought that sucked. Shuri, I like Shuri as the scientist, though. I don't think she made a good Black Panther. Even though her time as Black Panther was short, she just didn't fit the role, man. She was just too tiny. And at some scenes, she started acting like Michael B. Jordan. I didn't like that. Very masculine, very unattractive. I like Shuri as the scientist. That's what made me fall in love with her in Black Panther 1, because I didn't really know anything about like Black Panther and all that. But when I saw that first film, man, Shuri, she was like, I like that little kitty image that she did with her and T'Challa going back and forth. But her as the scientist throughout the MCU, that was her niche. That was what she was good at, I just didn't feel she was acceptable as the Black Panther. I would have preferred maybe Nakia, Okoye, or even Angela Bassett, but like I said, they killed her all. But Shuri just didn't make a good Black Panther. And honestly, Shuri should be dead, because a woman that little with that spear going into her, she should have been dead. Because it's like Michael B. Jordan got less than that. He just got stabbed or whatever, and he ended up dying. Shuri should have been dead. And I don't like that she the ending. I thought it was just weak and it was just fast. But I don't like the fact that she let Namor live. I thought they were just gonna kill him off. But that would have been bad, because this dude, he flooded Wakanda, killed hundreds of Wakandians, and he killed your mama, and you let him live. It's just like her and T'Challa, they always letting their accusers live. Like I don't know. I just didn't like that. I just thought the ending was weak when she told him to kneel. It's just almost saying like beg for mercy, and she let him live. I didn't like that. I just thought it was weak writing. It felt rushed, and it's like we watched 3 hours for this big build up, and it led to nothing. That's my problems with the Batman. We watched all this shit, and it led to nothing. You let the guy live all along. But I knew that would have been dumb if they would have killed him off too. So it's just one of those things to where I think they should have waited. And it's unfortunate that we didn't. Let's talk about Nakia. Now I wish we would have got more Nakia. You know, she did a good job for what she had. She just wasn't in the movie enough for me. The times that she was on screen, especially when Angela Bassett go visit her, she kept looking into the camera. I don't know if you guys caught that, but that was just bad editing or what. She kept looking into the camera, and it kind of just threw off the mood or whatever. But I wish we would have got more of her. But they just didn't, you know. It's just like they fumbled the ball on that. What else? I just they concluded, man. I just thought it was just weak. I thought it was lame. Michael B. Jordan's cameo, I didn't really care for it. Like, okay, he's dead. I'm glad that they mentioned him in certain scenes, but like I said, this movie felt like it should have been the fourth movie in the series. That's what it felt like. It didn't feel like a good sequel, a good follow-up to that first film. That first film was phenomenal. I remember when I went to the theaters, we had Chinese people. We had every type of race, because I live in a conservative community. We had every type of race in that theater, and we were sharing that moment when we seen that first film. I didn't get that this time. You know, that first film, and you could tell Ryan Coogler put a lot of effort, because he said at the casino scene how he choreographed that, how he did the angles and stuff like that. He really took time to do that. You can tell this was just a rush job, and you can feel it. And it just feels empty without T'Challa. You know, it doesn't follow that first one. This is not good for a sequel. This is the type of movie that's like an Elseworld story, or it's good for a fourth story after T'Challa gets a 3-story movie arc. You know, that's in my opinion. It just didn't feel like a good sequel. Like all sequels is supposed to follow that first one. All good franchises did that. You know, Back to the Future did that. Star Wars did that. You know. And it's just a couple other that did that. But this one didn't do it. It just went totally left, totally woke. And like I said, another problem with this movie, it's a chick flick. It's a chick flick for women, black women. And I said this, I'm cool with a chick flick as long as it's not in your face. This was all in your face. All in your face. So they didn't waste no time of showing a strong, independent, I don't need no man, black woman, you know. And like I said, I was for this movie, but until I started seeing this crap, how they was dogging men and making the men look weak, making them kneel. Remember that first scene where the special ops try to get some vibranium and they get captured, and then the Daje Malay or whatever their name is, they make them kneel down to the Senate or whatever. It was just bad, you know. This is a chick flick. It was all in your face. It was a disrespect to men. It's unmasculine. It sidelined a lot of black masculinity compared to that first one. This was garbage. It was just garbage. This is the type of story, in my opinion, could have waited until the fourth film when they reboot everything. But this is a reboot of Wakanda. This is a reboot of Wakanda because the king, T'Challa's dead. The queen is dead. Shuri should have been dead. And everything's just a mess. Everybody's saying M'Baku is the king, but they never fought. So in my opinion, Shuri's the ruler, and because T'Challa had a son, so legally M'Baku is not the king. They never fought. So I don't know where people keep saying that. I remember the scene where he said he wanted to challenge the princess, but he also said the princess couldn't make it. So he's not the king. Correct me if I'm wrong, but overall, the movie, I just thought it was garbage, man. you know, and it was long. It was just long. It drags. It drags. And there's not really good any action scenes to get you engaged. Like I said, the only thing that I really like was the underwater scene. You know, and then, like I said, I was floating right in the water with him. You know, my girlfriend was like, "What the hell?" But I liked it. I like that scene. You know, I just thought it was kind of weird though, because at first they tried to make it seem like they was trying to flirt with each other. You know, I'm like, well, damn, she's supposed to be kidnapped. You know, but it's a Marvel movie. The cameo at the end with the little boy, I think they really put that in there the last minute. I know one of the executives said, well, he was going to be in another story arc, but we went from a T'Challa raised by a mother and a father, a black mother and a father who was warriors, to a bastard child that's raised by a bunch of women in the second movie. So that's my little nitpicks. But what would show me your nitpicks? You know, like I said, I may buy it when the DVD and shit goes on, when the Blu-ray goes in sale, but the movie's garbage, man. Fucking garbage. Share your thoughts below. We got more videos coming up, but tell me your little nitpicks. Did you like this? Do you feel like this story should have been a fourth film? Because that's how I feel. I don't think this film is acceptable for a sequel from the first. It just, you know, at the end of the day, T'Challa, the movie felt empty without T'Challa. That's about it. Like, share, comment, and share your thoughts, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.